Howdy. It is late at night. You can see out the window, it's dark. But as promised, I'm trying to release a video every single day so you can track what I'm working on and to keep me on top of things so I don't procrastinate and get behind and try to rush everything at the end of the freaking competition. So, like I said yesterday, I'm going to be going over my design ideas, and there are 3 different design ideas. One of them I already know is trash. Probably the dumbest thing I've ever thought of in my life. And I really wish I didn't feel like I had to show it to you, but I do. So here it is. Design number 1. Before I show you design number 1, I should say that I made an attempt at reinventing the paddle boat. You'll see why it's stupid. This is design number 1. My idiotic attempt at reinventing the paddle boat. The idea is you get a boat and you mount the bike in it, so you don't have to worry about flotation at all, or barrels or pontoons or anything. You just mount it straight to the deck of the boat. But the front forks would be free, in that line that you see going from here to here would be a cable, and this would be a pulley right here, and then it would go across, and then it would come to this rudder. I think that's the word. It'd come to the rudder and it would pull it one way or the other when you turn the handlebars, and you'd pedal and it would move a propeller in the back or a paddle wheel or whatever. But here, if you're not already convinced that this is the dumbest thing you've ever seen, let me go to the top view. I don't know if it makes more sense to you this way or not, but it helped me. Still really dumb, but let me explain why it's dumb. So you sit here, you pedal down here, it moves a propeller or paddle wheel back here, and here are your handlebars. And here's your rudder, so that's how you'd steer. Now here's the thing. The way that this would have to work is that for you to turn left, I can't just run the cable from here to here, because that would actually pull it and make you go right. Same on this side. I can't just run it here to here. That would make it pull you to the left. So if I just hooked it up like a normal, like you'd think would be normal, it would actually do reverse what you wanted. So you'd have to run the cable this way, across, and then to the rudder, so that when you pull down on the left side, it pulls the right side of the rudder over. Same thing the other way. Now keep in mind, I have $30 left. Cable is a few dollars a foot, and I guarantee you that would be, just in cable, I'd be probably $50. And then I have to buy a boat or find a free boat. And then if the design isn't stupid enough, then the practicality, being able to do this within the budget, is the cherry on top. Just plain stupid. Now, if the pulleys, which would have to be here and here and here and here, and the cable and the boat and everything wasn't already extra stupid, let me bring up another issue, which is top heaviness. I don't know if you've ever tried to stand up in a canoe. It doesn't work. It tips over. So if I were to use a normal size boat, or a boat that would be proportionate to the size of a bicycle, you would tip over, because when you're riding a bike, you're sitting up straight and it puts you you're almost standing. You tip over. So, just for giggles, I drew this boat, which is probably how big it would have to be to not tip over when you're riding a freaking bike in it. I would have to build a river raft. I would have to buy a boat this large for it to not tip over. Just stupid. So we've established that option number 1 is not going to work or happen. I apologize for poisoning your more intelligent thoughts with that really stupid one. But design number 2 is better. So I've been looking around on Craigslist to see what materials are available. And the most common one are just like 50 or 35 gallon drums. A lot of them are plastic, but a lot of them are metal. And metal would actually, even though it's heavier, it would be better because I can cut it up and weld it and shape it into whatever I want. I've designed the next 2 options with using barrels in mind because that's probably what I'm going to end up using. I think I can get them cheap enough that I'll still have money left over to do the rest of the bike, and I can cut them up and weld them and do whatever I need to do with them. So design number 2 looks a little bit like this. It kind of looks like that thing that Luke Skywalker rides on that one Star Wars where he's with the Ewoks. That one. This one I kind of like. It looks a lot better. And it's more practical, obviously. But so this one, it just would have 2 kind of pontoons here and one in the front. The way that a bicycle works normally is that most of the weight is in the back, obviously, where you know where you're sitting. The front, you really just, you lean forward for balance, I guess, and whatever, and you just steer with the front. So so I need more support in the back. I need more buoyancy in the back to hold up my weight and the weight of, just everything that's back there. Now the issue remains the same, which is that a narrow structure like this, I'm still way up out of the water in the air when I'm sitting up straight riding up the bike. So the more narrow I make it, the more likely it is to tip. And a tricycle, or a triangular shaped one like this, is even more prone to tip over because there's nothing here and there's nothing here. So it's just more likely to tip over this way. But I think it could work, and it makes the front easy because I can just attach one barrel or one whatever. I'll end up shaping them more like this so they're more hydrodynamically designed. But the reason it makes this easy is because I can just mount the front forks directly to the barrel, from the bottom of the fork to the top of the barrel, and I don't have to deal with any cuts or I don't really have to deal with anything. I'll probably have to put some extra supports in there just to firm it up, but it'd make it really easy because when I turn the handlebars, the barrel turns. That's where the boat goes. And I probably put a little fin underneath on the bottom to help direct it. That's design number 2. Let's go to design number 3. This one I think would be the most stable. And you see I have these as they're smaller than the rear barrel, so I'd have to find something else other than just a normal like 55 gallon barrel for these. But I think I could scrounge something up. I've seen a few. It's probably really dangerous, but I've seen a few like oxyacetylene tanks for sale for not very much. But I don't know how badly I'd want to go cutting into an old oxygen tank and blow myself up. But something of that size would be awesome. The only problem with this one is that instead of having the single mount one under here, the steering doesn't really become more complicated, but creating all of this becomes a lot more complicated. It's a lot of parts, a lot of pieces to make it work. I could do it, and I think I'm leaning towards this one. I really think I'm going to go with this one. I don't like the triangular one because of how unstable it will be, and I obviously really hate the first option. I'm not going to try to reinvent the paddle boat. It's just dumb. So this is probably the winner in my mind, unless I run into too many obstacles with this or with the design in general. Maybe I'll have to scratch everything and completely start over and do something totally different, but that remains to be seen. Alright, this one is by far the most primitive drawing, which I apologize for again. If you've ever seen a barrel from the side, it just looks like a rectangle like that. If you were to look at it straight on, at least in the 2D world, that's what it looked like. And I realize these are totally disproportionate and look really dumb, but I'm going to have something like that on the bottom of them so it keeps some kind of bearing instead of just having a flat surface on the bottom that can't really guide me anywhere. I do have to go around a buoy, so I do need to be able to steer pretty well. That's what it'd be like. And this design, if I just do it here kind of at the same height that the tires are at on a normal bike, it would work because I really don't want my feet to be in the water ever. And the pedals come down, they'll come down something like that, and attach here, which can be a problem because that brings me down even lower. So maybe I'll end up actually having to drop the floats down lower so that when I pedal my feet aren't underwater. But we'll figure that out too. And just FYI, I do not plan on using just a barrel as a barrel. I do plan on cutting it in half. So if you were to look at it head on, it would look like a half circle. And then if you look at it from the top, I'm going to shape them like this. So they won't actually just look like a rectangle. They'll be shaped to kind of like a boat. They'll be shaped with a boat that is sealed on the top. So again, I don't know how helpful that was, but this is probably the design I'm going to go with and try and make it work. I'm going to run into all kinds of problems, but it's going to be awesome. Those are my designs. Again, I apologize for poisoning your mind with my dumbness. But the design number 3 I think is going to work, and it'll look cool. And I think it's going to be a winner. Exciting news. 2 of my really good friends have decided to jump on board in the competition. They saw the first few videos from me and Aaron, and they said, hey, that looks awesome. We want in. So they're going to be a little bit behind. We have a few days, well, a few months of thinking about it ahead of them. But they're both very capable and very smart and very handy. And it's going to be fun. So as of right now, we're going to have 4 people in the final race on November 5th. And they're planning on making videos as well and tracking their progress and all that. I don't know how often they'll do that, but they'll at least be there on the race day with their hydro conversion kits. And I have to beat 3 people now instead of 1. Both of them will be welcome competition, but I'm going to win. Don't forget to.